Hey, welcome back to Finance Friday. I want to share with you the one thing that I see stopping most people from building wealth to their maximum potential. I guarantee this is not something you've seen or heard before. Check this out. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to another Finance Friday. This is Fetta, CEO of Philanthro Wealth, where we help good people build more wealth to make the world a better place. So I want to share with you a concept that I thought of yesterday, right? And I was doing some studying, I was doing some personal development work, and I learned about this idea, this concept, and I was like, wow, this really applies to building wealth, right? Now, before we get into this, I want to just set the stage, right? And so maybe you're a lot like me with this wealth building journey, this financial freedom journey, where one of the reasons why you're doing it is you're trying to escape a condition you were in before in your life, right? Maybe you were poor, maybe you went through hardship, maybe your family grew up without money, whatever it is, you have this place you're coming from, you're trying to escape, you're trying to get away from that is full of lack. Poverty, right? Scarcity, like these things that we don't like in our lives. We're trying to get rid of them. And so what happens is that's kind of the initial catalyst and pursuit sometimes of our wealth building journeys. Okay. Now, I've talked about this before. That's not really the best reason to build wealth. And I want to share this on the whiteboard to give you the visual diagram of this, because this is what I see happening to most people. Okay. Now, when I work with my members and my clients, my favorite people to work with are one of two people, okay? Before I draw this out, let's just give you each of them. Number one is those who are coming out of that place. They're hungry. They're like, whatever you say, I'm going to do. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be coachable. I'm going to put in the work. I'm going to put in the hours, right? And so they're actively trying to escape the condition that I just mentioned, because maybe they're, coming from a place of paycheck to paycheck or poverty or scarcity pretty recently. Maybe they have some condition in their life or with their family where they're like, this just happened, it's pretty fresh, and it's a catalyst of, okay, I need to get out of this spot, right? And so that's one of my favorite people to work with because they're very motivated. They're not someone that I have to convince them that they need to increase their income, that they need to study, that they need to build their own banking system. Like, that's not a conversation I need to have. They get it. And they're like, just give me the direction and the tools and the resources and the training and the coaching and all this stuff. I'll go make it happen. I love that. The other person I love working with is someone who, maybe they've already made some progress. They've built some wealth. They've built some passive residual income sources. They've got some different things happening, but their motivation is that they want to make a big impact. And that's the reason why they're pushing and playing this wealth game. It's beyond just like, oh, I don't want to be broke anymore. They're not broke anymore. They're not broke. They haven't been for a while, right? And so they're in a position of like, okay, what's the bigger thing I can be doing? How do I contribute to make the world a better place? How do we restore life essentials? How do we promote human welfare, right? How do we make this quality of life thing better for everybody, not just me and the people who happen to have bodies that are related to my body? Hey, you want to see a magic trick? Get a copy of my book, Blueprint to Financial Freedom. I know it's in front of my chest and my face because I want you focusing on the book and not me for a moment before you go back to focusing on me and the content, right? Like, that's something that I love doing. I love helping people with that because their vision is bigger, their game is bigger. Now, here's what happens, okay? So we've got this person and they're in a bad position, right? They're here right now. They're in this bad position. And so this is something that is motivating them to escape, to get into a better spot. So for me, when I first started wealth building, I started with, okay, I need to have a basic budget and start saving money because I wasn't even doing that. I couldn't afford rent. I couldn't pay for my cell phone bill, right? Things were not going well in my life. And so I was like, okay, I need to change. Something motivated that change. And what happens is you get into a high level of action. You start working extra hours. You learn sales. You start reading. You start studying. And so you go from, maybe a wavelength of barely doing anything right before to instead, now you're highly motivated, right? You're really focused and working on how do I start to make this thing real for myself, right? And so your wavelength might instead switch over and look something a little bit different, more a wavelength up and down, up and down, up and down, right? and in a good way. So you've got this wavelength that now looks like this. It's high action, right? You're doing a lot, you're moving things forward, you're doing everything you can to make progress. And so you're like, okay, good, I'm motivated, right? But how do I, make progress with that? And what happens is you get to a point where you're gonna be always limited by two factors, right? How good you are, your knowledge, your abilities, your skills, all of that, right? And then how much you can do, right? You can either do more or you can get better. Those are the two things you can do to move forward. That's your gas pedals. So here you're in the do more mode. I'm doing. I'm increasing my level of activity because I'm motivated to get out of this bad spot, right? And what happens is your level of action, the doing, becomes higher than your ability, right? Like you're driving in a gear that you don't have. Your engine's breaking down, like you're running faster than you're supposed to be with the conditioning that you have. However you want to relate that, you're in over your head, right? And so what happens is you're doing all of the stuff. You're saving money in your sacred account. You're putting money to your own banking system. You're starting to invest for residual income. You're doing the tax reduction. You're doing this, you're doing that, all this stuff, right? And it gets to a point, and that point is different for each person, where you become overwhelmed, right? Wealth building in life is overwhelming you rather than you overwhelming it. It's beating you instead of you beating it. And so what ends up happening with most people is they end up looking for this middle ground of comfort. Comfort, right? They try and find this safe, like, okay, how do I keep the money that I've got coming in, but reduce the activity level because I'm getting overwhelmed without going backwards into this bad spot that I used to be in? You tracking with that? It's like, I want to have the good. I want to reduce the activity level because I'm getting overwhelmed. It's more than I can handle without going backwards. And so they try and create this state of equilibrium where they are not moving anywhere, right? And here's the thing, you get battle scars from this wealth building thing. Like, guys, I've been financially banged up, bruised more than you know. And so there's certain things that trigger that. You start getting into this higher level of activity again. And if you haven't handled what I'm about to share with you, it triggers this stuff. You get back into that really high effort band of like, okay, I'm really working hard again for my wealth building. And what happens is you start reliving all of these losses and being banged up and beat up and bruised. And it sends you right back into the comfort zone again, right? So what is this comfort zone? You're trying to stop the game. I want to stop the game, but I still want to have the points and I still want the victory without doing anything, right? This happens to business owners. You start the business, it's a lot of action, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of overwhelm, it's constant 90-hour weeks. And you get to a point where you make enough money where you're like, I can justify that number, that level of comfort. I'm going to now back away from expanding my business and try and just not be involved anymore and still get the money somehow. Okay, I'm telling you, this is not workable. Not if you're going for positive impact. If you're going for comfort, guys, then this is early retirement. And I'm not trying to help you have early retirement. That's not what we're about here at Philanthro Wealth, right? Retire means retreat. Retreat means you lost the battle. You're running away. You threw your sword on the ground. You're running like a scared little baby because you can't handle what's coming. Right? And the thing that's coming is your own creation. You make your future. So what I'm saying here is this comfort zone thing, it's cowardice. Somebody trying to find this happy comfort of, okay, I get the benefit without having to do the work anymore. Like, yeah, you're burnout, you're beat up, I get it, right? But the solution is not like this retire or stop working or get comfortable or try and minimize your effort, right? What's going to happen is you're going to get pulled into it anyways. When you go into the comfort zone, you're going into the zone of being the effect rather than the cause. I experienced this firsthand, right? When I got to a position where I realized I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to, right? Imagine, because I've got a company, I've got several things going on, and I'm like, okay, I've got employees that don't listen to me. I've got problems here. I've got fires there. I've got this stress. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one trying to drive this thing forward. How nice would it be to just be like, screw it. Let me live off passive income. Forget those guys. Like, If they don't want to help, if I'm not going to get any assistance, if it's just going to be me, I don't have to do this anymore. I'm going to go hide under a rock and have all the things that I need, right? What happens is you end up becoming the person that's attacked. Why? Because you're not the attacker. This is my viewpoint on life. You're either the one attacking or you're the one being attacked. You're the one charging or the one being charged at. There's no condition where neither of those things is happening. So if you're not actively out there charging, achieving goals, pushing, growing, etc., you're going to have things constantly happening to you. This problem comes up, that problem comes up, this thing happens, that thing happens. And I'll tell you what, most of the time they're not good things, right? Newton has a law, if it can go wrong, it will. It's true. Okay, so what do I do if I'm in this position of like, okay, you're like, Jerry, I get it. I get what you're saying, right? But you don't understand. Like, I am tired of the grind. I'm tired of the work. I'm overwhelmed. I can't go any further. What do I handle here? How do I get this done? Okay, your game was escape. Okay, you were escaping from one thing and you escaped from one thing into a new problem. Overwhelmed, in over your head, burnt out, too much to keep up with, right? And now you're trying to escape from that thing without running back to the first thing you were trying to escape from. So you're finding this happy middle ground, this little thing in the middle where you're like, I can just hide here and be comfortable. That's what's happening. Here's the solution. You need to create something bigger to escape into, right? So instead of like coddling yourself and trying to reduce all the activity and, I need to relax and I need to this and I need to that. And let's just make life this calm little docile experience without any problems and no stress and no rush. And I major in all the minors and I don't do anything important for anyone except for me in my own house. And it's just comfy and it's pajamas all the time and this and that, right? Very easy to do, but I'm telling you the solution isn't that. The solution is you need a bigger game. So your wealth can no longer be motivated by the thing that you were motivated by before. Before, you were motivated by not being broke. You were motivated by being, not in financial hardship. Okay? Now, you're motivated by avoiding hardship in a different way. Stress, overwhelm, etc. So, my question to you, how big does the prize need to be for you to put up with that stuff? How big does the trophy at the end of a new game, we've not made the game up yet, we're going to create the game, but how big, how juicy does it need to be for you to be like, I'm willing to go through all of that with a smile on my face, excited? Okay, because that's what happens on the other side here. You need to get into an even higher level of action with a bigger game. A game where the payoff is so big that you don't care about the bumps and bruises. You don't care about the stress. You don't care about the overwhelm. And it forces you to get better. Okay? Because you're only able to play the game you're able to play. Your ability limits that. So if you're intellectually, emotionally, work ethically incapable of playing a bigger game, you're not gonna, because you're not good enough to play a bigger game. So you have to think about a bigger game. What's a bigger game that would challenge me to get better and that I would enjoy the process? Because you actually need to, in order to become truly successful with this wealth building game, you need to increase your tolerance for stress, for overwhelm. You don't need to avoid it, you need to tolerate it more. Right? Like, think about anything that's worth doing. You go to the gym, you're like, I want to put my body in better physical condition. If your strategy is avoid things that are uncomfortable, you're missing the purpose of going to the gym. The purpose of going to the gym is to do all the stuff that is uncomfortable so that your body tolerates it better, because you don't improve physically unless your tolerance rises. Right? What's another word for someone that's intolerant? Weak. If you're weak, you don't tolerate much. So then if your entire gauge is, well, can I tolerate it? You're going to stay weak in whatever area that is. Physical fitness, financial health, relationships, work, business, it doesn't matter. If it's causing you problems, that is a signal that you are weak, you are disabled in that area, and you need to get better by raising your tolerance for the very thing that's causing you problems. And the game needs to be big enough for you to want to do that. Okay, so my first favorite type of person over here, these are the guys and girls that are motivated by escaping bad financial conditions. Okay, my least favorite people to work with, comfort zone people. Comfy, I don't want to work too hard. How do you give me the most I can get without me doing anything? Right? Like avoidance of effort, avoidance of the expenditure of energy, right? I'm not here to financially gratify lazy people. That's not my mission in life. That's not the company's mission in life. So this comfort zone thing, like you need to handle it, right? And here's the beautiful thing. You can be comfortable in two different ways. You can be comfortable because you avoid things and you're a couch potato and you just hide under your rock, right? And you avoid discomfort. Or you can be comfortable in discomfort, being able to be there and have it. Like I'm okay with this amount of stress because I've raised my tolerance band and because I know what the payoff is. I know at the end of this, when I get through this, man, it's going to be awesome. The benefit of doing this is worthwhile. So what is it for you, goals and purposes wise, that is going to make it worthwhile to raise your tolerance? To get better, to confront and face all the stuff that makes you uncomfortable. To stop hiding under the rock and know that you're going to go forward, not backwards, and you can't stay in the middle anymore. For me, being financially independent and not having to trade time for money wasn't it. It's not it. It's not motivating enough, right? Like, what's your purpose in life? Oh, to not have to work and still get money, right? Okay, good. Quit your job and go on welfare. That's the easier way to do it. Why do you feel like that is the comfort zone. The goal cannot be to get into the comfort zone. To have no uncomfortableness, no stress, no nothing, and it's just super easy and I get paid every month and I do whatever I want. And I don't have to do anything hard. Right? That literally is the comfort zone. So I'm telling you, when you get here, bad stuff will happen to you. Why? Because you're not busy being creative and you're not on the attack anymore. Next, I don't want to interrupt you too long. I just want to give you a free offer for my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. If you go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, you can get the book now. I'm going to let you get back to the video. Right? So my goal wasn't that. Your goal can't be my family's financially independent. You're just going to create a bunch of lazy bums. Right? Like if your whole thing is like, oh, I want my kids to never have to work again, you're going to create criminals. You're going to create people who believe that life is just given to them and that they don't have to do anything because, their parents took care of them, their grandparents took care of them. That's not actually a good plan, right? You should actually be, as a parent, make their life harder on purpose because it's going to increase their tolerance band. They're going to be very able and very strong when they're older because of it. You won't do that though if you don't believe it yourself. If you're the one, self-coddling, hiding from adversity, etc., you're going to do the same thing with your kids. Right? Why? Because you believe that for yourself, so you then enforce that on them. You make that their thing also. I don't want them to have to face anything hard. Hard things are bad and it makes you uncomfortable and discomfort is the enemy. That's the mindset there. So you need to be looking at, okay, what are the things happening, the problems that are happening on this planet that are reducing quality of life for others, right? That are injuring life essentials on this planet. Food, air, shelter, transportation, all these important things that we need, infrastructure, art, education, right? Things that are inhibiting that for others. What if I made it my game to become financially free and wealthy because I want to solve those problems? See, this is why it's called philanthro wealth. A philanthropist is somebody who cares about other people. They love humanity and they want to help, and they make that their purpose. And there's an old quote by Zig Ziglar: you can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want first, right? So other people get what they want first doesn't mean couch potato for you, no work, no stress, no nothing, right? And the fundamental thing that's out here is when you're doing that, you're focused on I. Me. How do I feel? What do I think? Do I like that? Do I want that? What are my, and it's nothing about other people. Okay? You show me somebody who's doing poorly financially and I will show you the common denominator is that the main thing they focus on is their own comfort. That's it. That is the main thing poor people focus on. That's the main thing broke people focus on. That's the main thing the middle class focuses on. Middle class is broke, right? Comfort, my personal comfort. How comfortable can I get? How easy can I make it for me? How disabled and inhibited can I make myself? Because I can't handle anything other than comfort. If it's not easy, delicious, comfortable, all these things. And I'm telling you that the way to wealth is to create a purpose bigger than you, where you focus on the needs of others, and yours will automatically be met when you do that for enough people. And that gets you out of this middle ground of like hiding under your rock. It also gets you away from the thing you originally were trying to escape, which was bad financial conditions. And it puts you in a position where not only are you going to be financially in a better condition, building wealth, having financial freedom, but imagine the network you have of people you've helped. Right? Wealth is more than just money. Money is a part of it, but wealth is also friends. How many people do you have that know you and you know them and you help each other? Right? And if you focus on building wealth that way, at the end of the story, like you have this huge network of people that are like, yep, that person helped me. They improved my quality of life. They went out of their way because they cared about my welfare. Why? Because that's philanthro wealth. That's what philanthro wealth is. So I want you to take your purpose away from just wealth, right? Wealth is here. Escape the bad condition to get into the middle of comfort, okay? You can read, you don't even need to read, just go on YouTube and go look at like the Kardashians and Kanye West and all these crazy celebrities that are always having problems in their life. They're in the comfort zone. They're pulling in weird stuff, bad things. Right? And then I want you to find people who are constantly busy, right? And they're out there solving world problems. They're playing the bigger game. They're on this side. That's philanthro wealth. And that's really what I want to communicate to you today is that's a real problem is people will start this wealth building journey. They get overwhelmed. Their original goal is to escape the problem. And then they end up with the new problem of all the problems that come up as a result of trying to solve that problem. So they go into the comfort zone. They hide under their rock. Maybe that was their original goal in the first place. And then they don't realize like, why is my life so bad? Why do I have all these problems happening? Why am I not happy? Why am I less energetic than I was? Why do I feel like I'm on a decline? Right? And I'm telling you that that is an actual normal phenomenon that happens, and you need to predict that that's going to happen. And the faster you can link your personal wealth to a higher purpose than just you and the same people that have your last name. I'm not saying exclude them. I'm saying make it bigger than them. It includes them and goes beyond. Right? Me, my wife, my kids, and then my church and my community and my city and my state and my country and my world and the entire planet, because I live on this thing with everybody else. What happens to them happens to me. And I focus on that with my wealth building. The sooner I can link it to a specific purpose along those lines, the sooner I play a bigger game, the sooner I'm going to make my abilities higher, because I'm going to be like, man, I really need to learn, I need to grow, I need to improve. And the sooner I'm going to build bigger wealth in a way that's actually enjoyable and exciting. And yes, there's going to be stress, but it's going to be worth it. Like if you're on an adventure, think about this. If you're on an adventure, by definition, like you have an end goal of excitement. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to sail across the world. I'm going to climb the mountains. Whatever it is, the end goal is exciting. The definition of adventure would mean that there's also going to be obstacles. There's going to be challenges. And that should excite you. And if it doesn't excite you, you're hiding under the rock right now. Oh no, not that. Not hardship, right? And I'm telling you that that's the indicator. That's the key. If you have that reaction, you are currently hiding under the rock. You are living in the comfort zone, avoiding problems, avoiding discomfort, trying to make everything easy. Okay? And I'm telling you, like, if you're doing a real adventure, like your life is a story, at the end of it, you want to be like, yeah, the movie of my life was that I went to bed and I ate and I went to work and then I went to bed again and then I ate and I went to work, and I did that for 40 years so that I could quit doing the work part and just go to bed and eat. Right? Like nobody wants to watch that movie. Think about the most exciting movies you've watched. Right? That's life. You get to create your movie. You get to create what it's going to look like. You get to write the story. and the story can't have zero twists and turns. Nobody's gonna wanna watch that. You won't even wanna watch that. You'll probably check out early, and that's, retirees, they end up getting dementia and Alzheimer's and dying sooner. That's one of the reasons, is their life is not exciting anymore. They hit under the rock, right? So guys, that's what I wanna share with you today on this Finance Friday. I hope that this gives you some inspiration to make your wealth building purposes bigger and to go improve and actually really push on this thing, okay? Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Hey, this is Jerry Fetta here. I want to thank you for watching my video, watching my content. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to learn more about the blueprint to financial freedom and how you can achieve passive income that exceeds your savings, your expenses, your taxes, your generosity, and build wealth like the top 1%, I want to encourage you, grab a copy of my book, The Blueprint to Financial Freedom. You can go to jerryfetta.com/B2F promo, or you can click the link in the description of the video here. The copy is free. You cover your shipping. We'll send the book out to you, and we'll send you an email with a bunch of great bonus material also for free. Get the book, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on my next content.